Each horse is different. To believe we can train all horses using one technique or style is like thinking we can teach all children their ABCs the same way. It just doesn't work. To successfully train multiple horses, you have to be a chameleon and read and observe whatever it is the horse needs. Here I'm going to show you two very different horses and show you what each horse needs from me. First, we have Buddy. Buddy is a warm-blood gelding. He is in rehab but is well educated. Like all horses, he is quirky. It takes a lot of energy to keep him moving forward. Buddy would rather have a margarita and sit on a lounge chair. But he's also very easily startled. So it's a fine line between being insistent and overdoing it in my effort to keep him moving forward. Buddy can put his head and neck into a stiff frame to block me from achieving correct forward movement. This is deceiving because it can look like he's being a good boy and keeping his head low, when in fact he is setting his body into a frame that blocks me. So I have to keep things moving and try to loosen him up. Buddy starts out stiff and hopefully, with proper work, he warms up and becomes more malleable. So, with Buddy, moving and loose are the goals. But in the process, it's easy to cause him to become overbent or tilted. So I have to watch how I use the cavesson and whip to communicate what I am asking for. So, Buddy can escape both ways. He can either fix his body to block me, or if I ask for more forward, he can bend and twist his head and neck to escape, which allows his hind end to fall out. It's a very fine line between the two roads. Here is a nice example of a good transition from trot to canter. When lunging, I'm looking for each horse to have good flexions, to use his whole body, and to be soft and responsive. But each horse needs different things to get there. Buddy trusts Manolo, but it's new for him to trust me. He is also learning a new way of moving and unlearning what he was taught before. That involves reshaping a lot of hard-set patterns. And as most of us can attest, when you're learning something new, you're usually not your most confident. So I need to keep in mind that Buddy doesn't know me and doesn't particularly trust me enough to let himself go with me. Only time and repetition can show Buddy that I am trustworthy. Now for Yanis. Yanis is a 5-year-old warm-blood gelding. He's new to this whole training business and is in training with Manolo to finish his canter. Yanis is a light and easy to move forward horse. He is only a youngster and therefore doesn't know a whole lot. I lunged Buddy just before Yanis, and the inspiration for this episode came when I almost worked Yanis with my brain still thinking about Buddy. That would have been catastrophic. Yanis is a very different horse to Buddy. First of all, he's much bigger. It may not look like it, but Yanis is huge, and controlling those feet when they are so far away can't be easy for the big guy. Yanis is at the beginning of his education, and he doesn't know a third of what Buddy knows. If I had worked Yanis with the same intensity I used with Buddy, I would have scared the lights out of that poor horse. I had to actually stop and take a breath, clear my mind, and refocus on the horse that was in the arena, not the one I had just worked. In contrast to Buddy, Yanis doesn't need to unlearn anything. He just needs to learn, period. And he is also quite trusting. So Yanis is very open compared to Buddy. Being more open also means he's more reactive, so I have to be very light with my directions and very flexible in my requests. Unlike a more educated horse like Buddy, Yanis is just learning the beginnings of self-carriage. So I let him trot slower because at this pace, he can keep his balance while stretching out his head and neck, working those balancing back muscles. Yanis's attention wanders, which causes his circles to wander. Because he's just learning, he can do that. I'll only gently ask him to focus back on me, but not insist. Training is not one size fits all. Before coming here, I had only my own horse or two to work with. Occasionally, I'd play with another horse, but not very often. Here, I see a lot more horses, so it really brings into focus how vital it is to wipe your mind between horses. I keep reiterating that each horse is different from the other, but they are also different between left and right, and different from day to day. As we educate our horses, their bodies and their minds change. I think we get the idea that there is supposed to be a constant advancement in training, whereas sometimes, to go forward, you have to go back. I remember Chantel and I discussing this very thing a few weeks ago. She said, as you add new knowledge, some other pieces destabilize. As you improve one side of the horse, sometimes the other side gets worse. Or, when you introduce the canter, the trot can come apart a bit. We get into a hurry to have everything just right all the time, when in fact, as we progress the horse, some things fall apart a bit. And that's okay. It's part of the process. Here Yanis got confused and just stopped. Instead of insisting that he move forward, I went to him, reassured him that he was okay, and asked him to walk on, which he did happily and confidently. Those little things go a long way towards building a horse's confidence in themselves and in you. At the end of the day, it comes back to feel. You have to feel what the horse is giving you. Read and observe his body and see what it tells you. If there was one grand lesson that I could say, learn this and you'll be set, it would be, learn how to always keep your mind open. Let the horse tell you from moment to moment what he needs. Simple, right? But tough to execute.